Most people will waste 70% of their life and die with regret, having accomplished nothing meaningful. They'll blame circumstances, bad luck, or other people, but the brutal truth is that they simply refuse to use their time wisely. While everyone claims to want success, most aren't willing to sacrifice their comfort, their entertainment, or their excuses to achieve it. They'd rather scroll through social media for 3 hours a day than invest just 1 hour in building their future. They'd rather watch strangers live exciting lives on TV than create an exciting life of their own. But not you, not anymore. You're about to learn what separates the extraordinary few from the mediocre many, and it all comes down to how you use those 24 precious hours you're given each day. Time is slipping away right now as you sit here. 60 seconds gone. Another minute you'll never get back. And what if I told you that how you use the next 24 hours will determine where you'll be next year, and the year after that, and 10 years from now? You see, everyone has the same 24 hours. The rich, the poor, the successful, the struggling, we all get the same amount. But why do some people achieve so much while others barely get by? It's not magic. It's not luck. It's about how they use those precious 24 hours. I want to ask you something important. If someone offered you $86,400 every single day with just one condition, you must spend all of it before midnight or lose whatever you don't use, what would you do? You'd find ways to spend every dollar, wouldn't you? Well, each day gives you exactly 86,400 seconds, and any you don't use wisely are gone forever. Most folks talk about wanting more time. If only I had more hours in my day, they say. But that's the wrong approach. You don't need more time. You need to master the time you have. And that mastery starts with understanding a simple truth. Time is the great equalizer. No one gets more of it. So the winners in life aren't those with more time, but those who use their time better. I learned this lesson years ago when I was struggling, working hard but getting nowhere. I was busy. Oh, was I ever busy? But I wasn't productive. There's a world of difference between being busy and being productive. Busy people are like hamsters on a wheel, running and running, but staying in the same place. Productive people move forward with each step. So let me tell you about the mindset shift that changed everything for me. I stopped seeing time as something to spend and started seeing it as something to invest. Just like money, you can either waste time, spend time, or invest time, and only one of these gives you a return. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. I work all day. I'm exhausted. How can I possibly do more? But that's not what I'm asking you to do. I'm not asking you to do more. I'm asking you to do better. To be smarter with your time. To make minutes count instead of just counting minutes. The greatest gift you can give yourself is to become a student of how successful people use their time. Because once you learn that, everything changes. Your productivity multiplies. Your stress decreases. Your progress accelerates. All because you've learned to use your 24 hours wisely. So let's talk about what's really happening with most people's time. The average person sleeps about 7 hours. They work 8 to 9 hours. They spend about 2 hours on meals, another hour or so commuting, then maybe 3 hours watching TV or scrolling through social media. Add in a few more hours for miscellaneous activities, and that's their day. Day after day, week after week. And you know what? At the end of the year, they wonder why nothing has changed. They wonder why they haven't moved forward. They're doing the same things every day, but expecting different results. That's the very definition of insanity. Let me tell you about a study that shocked me. The average American spends over 3 hours each day on their smartphone. That's 21 hours a week, about 90 hours a month, more than 1,000 hours a year. That's like taking 45 full days over a month and a half and flushing them down the drain each year. Now, I'm not against technology. I'm against mindlessness. I'm against letting valuable time slip through your fingers while you scroll through other people's highlight reels and political arguments. Here's another statistic that might surprise you. The average person spends about 5 hours a day watching TV or streaming shows. That's 35 hours a week. Almost a full work week spent staring at a screen that gives nothing back. Nothing that builds your future. Nothing that improves your skills or knowledge. I'm reminded of what my mentor Earl Schoaf once told me. He said, Jim, don't waste time in the name of relaxing that you could invest in getting better. That stuck with me because relaxation is necessary. We all need downtime. But there's a difference between strategic rest and mindless time killing. Most people never audit their time. They have no idea where their hours actually go. They feel busy, rushed, overwhelmed, but they can't tell you exactly what consumed their day. And that's a problem because what gets measured gets managed. So here's your first assignment. For just 1 week, Track your time. Every hour, write down what you did. Be honest. Don't write down what you wish you did. Write down what you actually did. This simple exercise will shock you. It will show you where your time is really going, not where you think it's going. When I first did this, I discovered I was wasting over 20 hours a week on activities that weren't moving me forward. 20 hours, that's half a work week I was throwing away. And once I saw it clearly, I couldn't unsee it. I had to change. Knowing where your time goes is just the beginning. The real question is, how do you restructure your days for maximum productivity and progress? And that starts with your morning. The way you begin your day sets the tone for everything that follows. Most people start their day in reaction mode. The alarm goes off and immediately they're checking emails, responding to texts, scrolling through social media, putting out fires before their feet even hit the floor. That's no way to start a day of purpose and productivity. Instead, take control of your mornings. The most successful people I know all have a morning ritual, a series of actions they take every single day to put themselves in the right physical, mental, and emotional state. My own morning ritual has evolved over the years, but the principles remain the same. I wake up early, usually around 5, because those quiet morning hours are golden. There are no interruptions, no demands. I'm just me and my thoughts. I start with gratitude. Before I do anything else, I list 3 things I'm grateful for. This simple practice shifts your focus from what you lack to what you have. And that shift alone can transform your day. Next, I review my goals. Not just glance at them, but really review them. I visualize them as already achieved. I feel the emotions of having reached those milestones. This programs my subconscious mind to look for opportunities that move me toward those goals. Then I read for at least 30 minutes. Not novels or entertainment, but books that educate and inspire. Books on business, psychology, history, philosophy. Books that expand my thinking and add to my knowledge base. Remember, all leaders are readers. If you want to lead in your industry, your community, or just in your own life, you must be constantly learning. After reading, I exercise for 30 minutes. Nothing fancy, just enough to get my blood flowing and endorphins released. Exercise isn't just about physical health. It's about mental clarity. Some of my best ideas come during or right after a workout. Then I plan my day. Not just a to-do list, but a strategic plan. I identify my most important tasks, the ones that will actually move the needle in my business and life, and I schedule them during my peak performance hours. This entire ritual takes about 90 minutes, and those 90 minutes set up the other 22.5 hours for success. By the time most people are hitting the snooze button, I've already accomplished more than many will all day. Now, I can hear some of you saying, that sounds great, Jim, but I'm not a morning person. And to that I say, become one. It's a choice. It's a habit you can develop. No one is born a morning person or a night owl. These are patterns we establish and can change if they don't serve us. But maybe you truly do function better later in the day. That's fine. The principle still applies. Create a ritual to start your day whenever your day starts. The key is intentionality, beginning with purpose rather than reaction. Remember this, your morning ritual is sacred time. It's an investment in yourself that pays dividends throughout the day. Guard it jealously. Don't let other people's urgencies invade this time. The emails can wait. The news can wait. Social media definitely can wait. This time belongs to you and your future. Now let's talk about understanding your peak performance hours. Everyone has certain times of day when they're at their best. When their energy is highest, their focus is sharpest, and their creativity flows most freely. For most people, this peak occurs in the morning, typically between 9 a.m. and noon. But it varies. Some people hit their stride in the afternoon or evening. The important thing is to identify when you're at your best and protect those hours fiercely. During your peak hours, work on your most important and challenging tasks, the ones that require deep thought, creativity, and focus. Save routine tasks for your lower energy periods. This is the opposite of what most people do. Most people check email first thing in the morning, during prime focus hours, and then try to tackle creative or strategic work in the afternoon when they're mentally drained. That's backward. Email, routine calls, paperwork, organizing. These can all be done when your energy dips. But the work that moves you forward, writing that business plan, developing that new product, creating that important presentation, save that for when your brain is firing on. Also, Finn Downs worked with a successful CEO who blocked off an aim to 11 every day for strategic work. No meetings, no calls, no interruptions. His team knew that unless the building was on fire, he was not to be disturbed during those hours. And he credited much of his success to this practice. Another client of mine, a writer, discovered she was most creative between 4 p.m. and 7 p.m. Once she reorganized her schedule to do her writing during those hours, her output tripled. Not because she was working more, but because she was working smarter, aligning her most important work with her peak performance time. And here's something fascinating. Your peak performance time might shift as your life circumstances change. When my children were young, I found my focus was best very early in the morning before they woke up. As they grew older and my schedule changed, I discovered a secondary peak in the late afternoon. Pay attention to your body and mind and be willing to adjust. The key is this: not all hours are created equal. 1 hour of focused work during your peak time can be worth 3 hours of distracted effort during an energy low. So identify your peak, protect it, and use it for your most valuable work. And speaking of your most valuable work, let's clarify what that means. Your most valuable activities are those that directly contribute to your major goals and utilize your unique strengths and talents. For an entrepreneur, this might be developing business strategy, building key relationships, or creating new products. For a writer, it's writing. For a salesperson, it's connecting with qualified prospects. For a leader, it's setting vision and developing people. Whatever your role, certain activities create far more value than others. These are your high leverage activities, things where 1 hour invested can save you 10 hours later or generate 10 times the return of an hour spent elsewhere. I learned this lesson from my mentor. He said, Jim, always ask yourself, is what I'm doing right now the highest and best use of my time? That question changed my life because often the answer was no. I was busy with low-value activities while the truly important work sat waiting. Here's an exercise. List all the activities in your typical workday, every single one, then rank them based on the value they create. You'll probably find that about 20 of your activities generate 80 of your results. That's the Pareto principle at work. Once you've identified your high-value activities, schedule them first. Give them the prime real estate in your calendar. Everything else fits around them, not the other way around. This leads us to the power of scheduling. Most people use a to-do list, but successful people use a calendar. The difference is profound. A to-do list tells you what needs to be done. A calendar tells you when you'll do it. When something is just on a to-do list, it's easy to push it off. I'll get to it tomorrow, you tell yourself. But tomorrow brings new urgencies, new distractions, and that important task gets delayed again and again. When you schedule something, when you block out specific time for it in your calendar, you're much more likely to follow through. You've made an appointment with yourself. That's just as important as an appointment with anyone else. I schedule everything. Work tasks, extras, reading, family time, even personal reflection. If it matters, it gets time assigned to it. And here's the key. I treat these appointments with myself as seriously as I would a meeting with an important client. Because in many ways, they're even more important. Now, a word of caution. Don't overschedule. Leave margin in your day. Things often take longer than expected, and new urgencies will arise. If you pack your schedule too tightly, one unexpected event can derail your entire day. I recommend scheduling no more than 75 of your workday. The remaining 25 does buffer time for unexpected issues, creative thinking, and relationship building. This buffer is not extra time. It's an essential part of a productive schedule. And while we're talking about scheduling, let me address a common mistake. Multitasking. Contrary to popular belief, human beings are terrible at multitasking. What looks like multitasking is actually rapid task switching, and it's incredibly inefficient. Each time you switch tasks, your brain needs time to reorient. These switching costs add up. Studies show that multitasking can reduce productivity by as much as 40. That means what could take you 1 hour with focused attention might take you an hour and 40 minutes if you're constantly switching between tasks. Instead, work in focused blocks. The Pomodoro technique, 25 minutes of focused work followed by a 5-minute break, works well for many people. Others prefer longer blocks of 90 minutes, which aligns with our natural ultradian rhythms. The principle is the same. Focused work is effective work. Give one task your complete attention, finish it or reach a good stopping point, then move on. You'll accomplish far more this way than by juggling multiple tasks simultaneously. Now, let's talk about one of the biggest challenges to productive times of interruptions and distractions. The average office worker is interrupted every 11 minutes. and it takes an average of 25 minutes to get back to the original task after an interruption. Do the math and you can see the problem. You must ruthlessly eliminate unnecessary interruptions. This means turning off notifications during focused work periods. It means educating colleagues about when you're available and when you're not. It might mean working from home or finding a quiet space when you need deep focus. Digital distractions are particularly insidious. Email, social media, news sites, these are designed to capture and hold your attention. They're engineered to be addictive, and they're robbing you of your most precious resource. I recommend checking email just 2 or 3 times a day at scheduled times, not first thing in the morning and not constantly throughout the day. Batch process your emails during specific blocks, then close your email program. As for social media, be honest with yourself about whether it's serving you or draining you. For most people, it's the latter. If you use social media for business, schedule specific times for it and stick to those boundaries. If it's purely personal, consider limiting it to evenings or weekends. And here's a radical idea. Try a complete digital detox for 24 hours. No phone, no computer, no TV, just one day. The insights you gain about your relationship with technology might surprise you. Remember, every time you say yes to a distraction, you're saying no to something else, something potentially more important. Your time is finite. Spend it with intention. Now let's shift gears and talk about one of the most valuable investments of your time. Learning. In today's knowledge economy, your earning ability is directly tied to what, and how quickly you can learn new things. The average person reads less than 1 book per year after finishing their formal education. The average CEO reads 60 books per year. That's not a coincidence. Reading is to the mind what exercise is to the body. It strengthens your thinking, expands your vocabulary, introduces you to new ideas, and helps you see old problems in new ways. And in an age of short attention spans and superficial thinking, the ability to deep read and deeply understand gives you a tremendous competitive advantage. I recommend reading at least 30 minutes every day. That's about a book a month or 12 books a year. In 5 years, that's 60 books, more than most people read in a lifetime. And those 60 books can transform you into an expert in your field. But it's not just about books, podcasts, online courses, seminars, mentorships. There are countless ways to acquire knowledge. The key is consistency. A little learning each day, compounded over time, leads to mastery. And when you learn actively, not passively. Take notes, ask questions, apply what you learn to real problems. Teaching others what you've learned is particularly powerful. It forces you to clarify your thinking and reinforces your understanding. Remember, in the information age, ignorance is a choice, and it's an expensive one. The time you invest in learning pays dividends for the rest of your life. Connected to learning is the practice of reflection. Most people are so busy doing that they never stop to think about what they're doing, why they're doing it, and whether there might be a better way. What we decided works. At the end of each day, ask yourself, what went well today? What could have gone better? What did I learn? How will I apply that learning tomorrow? Weekly reflection is even more powerful. Take an hour each weekend to review your week. Did you accomplish what you set out to do? Are you making progress toward your major goals? What adjustments do you need to make for the coming week? And don't stop there. Monthly, quarterly, and annual reviews help you see the bigger picture. They prevent you from mistaking motion for progress and help you course correct before small deviations become major detours. Reflection time might seem unproductive because you're not doing anything, but it's actually one of the highest leverage activities you can engage in. It's the difference between chopping down trees all day and taking time to sharpen your axe. Now let's talk about something many people overlook when thinking about time management. Physical well-being. Your energy level directly impacts how much you can accomplish in a given hour. You can't separate physical health from productivity. They're intimately connected. Low energy means low output, no matter how well you manage your schedule. Exercise regularly. It doesn't have to be intense. Even a 30-minute walk each day makes a difference. Exercise increases blood flow to the brain, reduces stress, and boosts your energy and mood. It's one of the best investments of time you can make. Pay attention to what you eat. Heavy meals drain your energy. Processed foods and sugar lead to crashes. Simple adjustments to your diet can have a profound impact on your alertness and stamina throughout the day. And don't neglect sleep. The research is clear. Sleep deprivation impairs cognitive function, memory, creativity, and decision making. The macho culture of I'll sleep when I'm dead is scientifically backward. Want to make better decisions, learn faster, and be more creative. Get enough sleep. I aim for 7-8 hours of quality sleep each night, and I protect my sleep time just as zealously as my work time, because I know that without sufficient rest, everything else suffers. While we're on the topic of well-being, let's talk about stress management. Chronic stress is a productivity killer. It impairs your thinking, drains your energy, can lead to serious health problems. Build stress management techniques into your daily routine. This might be meditation, deep breathing, prayer, or simply quiet time in nature. Find what works for you and make it non-negotiable. I spend 15 minutes each day in complete quiet. No input, no output, just being present. This simple practice has been transformative for my stress levels and mental clarity. Let's address another critical aspect of time management. Relationships. How you spend time with others has an enormous impact on your productivity and happiness. Jim Rohn, that's me, is known for saying you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. This isn't just a clever saying. It's a profound truth. The people around you influence your thinking, your habits, your ambitions, and your results. Be intentional about who you spend time with. Seek out relationships that elevate you, people who inspire you, challenge you, and support your growth. Limit time with those who drain your energy or pull you off course. This doesn't mean abandoning friends or family who are going through tough times, but it does mean being aware of the influence others have on you and managing that influence wisely. Remember, at the end of life, relationships are what matter most. No one on their deathbed wishes they'd spent more time at the office or scrolling through social media. They wish they'd spent more quality time with the people they love. Which brings us to a key point. The purpose of managing your time well isn't just to be more productive. It's to create a life of meaning, purpose, and joy. Productivity is a means, not an end. Use the time you save through better management to invest in what truly matters to you. Maybe that's family. Maybe it's creative expression. Maybe it's service to others. Whatever gives your life meaning deserves prime space in your calendar. Now, let's circle back to where we started. The 86,400 seconds you get each day. They're going to pass whether you use them wisely or not. Time marches on regardless of what you do with it. But the results of how you use that time accumulate. Day by day, your choices compound. Small decisions, reading for 30 minutes instead of watching TV, waking up an hour earlier, focusing deeply instead of multitasking. These add up to massive differences over months and years. Will surely arrive. The question is, where? And the answer depends on how you use your 24 hours each day between now and then. I want to leave you with a thought experiment that has been powerful for me. Imagine you're at the end of your life looking back. What would you want to see? What achievements would make you proud? What experiences would you treasure? What impact would you want to have made? Now, work backward from that vision. What would you need to accomplish each decade to reach that end? Each year, each month, each week, each day? This exercise brings clarity to your daily choices. It helps you distinguish between what's merely urgent and what's truly important, between what's expedient and what's meaningful. Remember, your schedule is a tangible expression of your values. How you spend your time reflects what you truly believe is important, not what you say is important. So look at your calendar for the coming week. Does it align with your stated priorities and long-term vision? If not, what needs to change? The most successful people I know aren't those who do the most things. They're those who do the most important things. They've learned to distinguish between activity and achievement, between motion and progress. And that's what I want for you. Not just busy days filled with activity, but productive days filled with achievement. Not just the passage of time, but the investment of time in what matters most. Here's the ultimate truth about time. You can't manage time. Time is fixed. What you can manage are your choices about how to use that time, and those choices determine everything. So what will you choose to do with your next 24 hours? And the 24 after that? And all the 24-hour periods you're blessed to receive. Choose wisely, my friends. Because while time is our most limited resource, it's also our most powerful one when invested well. Remember, the way you spend your time today is creating your future. Make it a future you'll be proud to live in. You have 86,400 seconds today. How will you invest them? The clock is ticking. Your future is waiting. It's time to begin.